Hello everyone, welcome to WhiskyWars. I've realised that on the channel that I review a lot of ISLAY whiskies, but I've never given a list video, and I think it's really important that I do so. So today, this is going to be my top 4 recommendations for budget ISLAY whiskies. Now, what constitutes budget? I think that question gets harder every year, especially recently with the price hikes in whiskey. I will include a couple of mentions after these 4 whiskies of 2 that I used to really recommend, but they're too expensive now, so they're out of that budget realm. So starting things off with the most expensive whiskey here today, and it's really affordable. That's the whole premise of the video. But I really enjoy all 4 of these whiskies. So we're kicking things off with an Ardbeg, for actually one that will appear in, if I do a video in the future of my value for money whiskies, this one's going to appear in it because I think it's incredible value for money. Now, it just creeps into my budget list because it is £32 and it is as high as £36. So it is at that top end of what I would call budget, but it's so good that I had to include it. You're getting a natural colour, non-chill filtered whiskey at 47% ABV, even better. If you do a bit of shopping, you'll get it for £32. If you don't, you'll get it for £36. I was recently in Germany and I saw this for €31, which is about £27. Now, if I could have, I would have picked up a bottle, that's for sure, because this one's just run out, so yes, annoying. It's none other than the Ardbeg Wee Beastie. Now this is it's an Ardbeg. 2, it's a 5-year-old whiskey, and it's finished in Oloroso sherry casks. This is one of my favourite Ardbeg whiskies of all time. I may or may not have posted this video yet, but I have recorded the full Ardbeg core range in one whole review with the 8-year-old for discussion also thrown in there. So it's a big Ardbeg review, and I rank them. And this one, I won't say where it finished, but it did very, very well. And it's the cheapest one. I call it £32. Now this is going to be a very, very intense Islay. It's going to be one of the stronger sorts of Islas that you can get. So if you want something to kick you in the nuts, this is the whiskey to do it. What I will say, just to maybe drop a little bit of intrigue into this whiskey, is I get a little bit of cookie dough inside here. Don't think it's going to be sweet, incredibly salty, peaty, a bit of sweetness there too though, and very, very earthy. It's a beautiful whiskey, well worth the money, Ardbeg Wee Beastie. But this comes in the number 4 spot because of the price. Now in number 3, I've actually gone for a whiskey here that I wouldn't have gone for a couple of years ago. I'd have gone for a different whiskey in their range, but as with a lot of things, and another whiskey that I'll talk about in a bit, recent price hikes have taken it out of that budget realm, which actually it should be in because it's really good juice for the money, but not anymore. And I was going to talk about the Bowmore 12 and the Kalila 12. They don't feature on this video because they're now, I think, too expensive to be featured in this list. But one that is still cheap, and it is priced, I bought this whiskey for £21 about 18 months ago. You can find it regularly on offer for between £23 and £25, and I think it's really worth a pick up for that money. This is the Bowmore number 1. Now this is a non-sherried Bowmore, so maybe something very different to what you're used to. It doesn't get a lot of love in the community, so I'm going to feature it as number 3 because I think these other 2 are better. But for £21 to £25, I think more people should try this whiskey. It's not going to be for everyone, it is quite divisive, but I can really, really appreciate this whiskey. So in number 3, Bowmore number 1. Now in number 2, we have a whiskey that I picked up for £25 in the UK. On offer, you can still find this for £25, which is amazing, but likely maybe you're going to find it close to that £30 mark now. But I still think it's an amazing whiskey for the money. Now this is an unpeated Islay whiskey, so you may have an idea of which one this is. This is a Bunnahabhain, and it's the Bunnahabhain Strada. Now when I first tried this whiskey, I wasn't blown away by it, but it was a few years ago. It's since grown on me dramatically. I get this beautiful mineral note in this whiskey. Think salty sea air and salty sea rocks. Salt water on rock, it's just full of minerality. It's really, really pleasant. With a little bit of red fruits, it is sherried, but you don't really notice it too much. It's a little bit there, and I like that. I like that little bit of subtlety that actually improves the whiskey and adds to it. You're also going to get salt and pepper with a little bit of oak. So a little bit of a Talisker vibe to it in that respect, but a beautiful, beautiful whiskey. Nonetheless, certainly worth the money. This one goes in my number 2 spot, which leaves the number 1 spot to come. I don't know if it's been in the camera shot the whole video. I apologise if it has. This is I might save that for a future video. This is one of my favourite distilleries of all time. And just before I reveal my number 1 budget Islay whiskey, if you are enjoying this video, please do leave a like on the video and don't forget to click that subscribe button. Okay, my number 1 budget Islay whiskey. It's a Laphroaig. This whiskey is available. It's basically, this whiskey is like on a permanent offer. £23. You can pay £25, but really you can find it for 23. It's 40%, but it is an incredible, incredible whiskey. I recommend it to a lot of people who want to venture into an intense, strong Islay, but those whiskies are a little bit too much for them. I think this is a really nice bridge whiskey because it has all the lovely notes of a Laphroaig, but it just softens them up. It adds a little bit more honey and butterscotch. I call it a creme brulee note, and that's really quite a strong note that's imparted into this Laphroaig, and it softens all those aggressive notes out. Still quite aggressive, but softened up, so I think it's a perfect bridge whiskey. This is none other than the Laphroaig Select. It's just something that I really recommend to a lot of people. £23 for a Laphroaig. I actually think it's a little bit underrated as well, and there are some people who prefer the Select to the 10-year-old. Now, if you're in America, the 10-year-old is 43%. We unfortunately get it for 40%, which is the same as the Select. So you can understand that some people would prefer the Select to the 10-year at the same proof, especially considering that it's cheaper. And it just gives you a little bit more sweetness into that aggression. So guys, these are my top 4 whiskies. I did actually mention I would mention another whiskey that would have got into it a couple of years ago when I bought the whiskey, but no more, unfortunately. And that was the Kalila 12. I bought that whiskey for £32. It was regularly on offer for a really, really affordable price. Now, unfortunately, it's between £40 and £45. And actually, for that money, I think there's a lot of competition for it. So it doesn't feature in today's video, but it is an honorary mention alongside the Bumor 12. So guys, in number 4, the Ardbeg Wee Beastie. Natural colour, non-chill filtered, bottled at 47.4% ABV. In third place, the Bumor number 1, which is a non-sherried Bumor, but still peated, bottled at 40%. Then we have the Bunnahabhain Strada, which is an unpeated and sherried Islay, bottled at 46.3%, and I believe this is also natural colour and non-chill filtered. But in number 1 we have the Laphroaig Select, bottled at 40%. Incredible whiskey, £23. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like on the video down below and don't forget to click that subscribe button. Do consider that share button, and also if you're feeling really generous and you enjoy the videos and want to keep them coming, I have recently started a Patreon account The link is in my About section, I believe, and it would be really appreciated if you can come and join us there. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you all for the next Whiskey War.